Hello everyone, this is Group 1. The emergency we're talking about is Zhengzhou flood. First is the introduction. From 17 to 23 July 2021, China's Henan province was hit by a rare and severe flooding disaster due to extraordinary heavy rainfall, causing a total of 14,786,000 people to be affected and 200,000 evacuated in 150 countries, cities, and districts in Henan province. The provincial capital Zhengzhou was the most severely affected, with this presentation we'll talk about, with property losses of 40.9 billion yuan, 34.1% of the province totally. The country named it 7.20 Extraordinary Rainstorm Event. This presentation will provide an introduction to the disaster, site analysis, causes, precedents including similar disasters, and design precedents, as well as an analysis of the physical and non-physical risk and protection framework for flood disasters.
The details about this emergency. This rainstorm had a severe impact on Zhengzhou and the entire Henan province, which is still ongoing. According to Xinhua News Agency, the rainfall from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on July 20 reached 201.9 mm per hour, breaking the historical extreme value for mainland China. Xinhua News Agency reported 380 people dead and missing in the incident. More than 1.24 million people were affected across the province. Flooding caused by heavy rainfall inundated the city of Zhengzhou. Around 400,000 cars were swept away by the flood. Crops and vegetation was destroyed, and some buildings were either collapsed or washed away. This incident caused serious damage to the economy of Zhengzhou area. According to Tao and Han, year-over-year figures for real estate, retail, and food industries showed a downward trend compared with July and August of 2020. The floods also caused damage to Zhengzhou's transportation system. Zhengzhou's subway line 5 was completely submerged and was inaccessible for several days after the event. Circuit problems and water contamination were continuing problems as well. Thus far, all known problems have been solved. Several response strategies were employed to deal with this emergency. The government coordinated emergency links between each sector. The fire department and medical teams played an important role in the response. The fire department used assault boats and rubber dinghies for rescues, and the medical teams provided timely treatment to injured people. The transportation department was responsible for evacuating traffic and providing emergency transportation as well.
This part about site analysis. This is Leo. I will focus on the weather reason and geographical analysis. Let's start. This part is about the geography of Zhengzhou. The terrain is special in Zhengzhou because Zhengzhou located in the eastern Qingling Mountain with a high terrain in the southwest and a low terrain in the northwest east. In addition, in the riverbed of the Yellow River in the north is also quite high. After accumulated water, it's easy to cause flows from the upstream to the downstream. Therefore, the topography of the Zhengzhou is a key factor leading to a flood. That is the reason why water can't be discharged. As we can see from the diagram of the underground river on the left picture, this picture, the Yellow River is an overground river which is nearly 7 meters high and has been paired with the sea. It's impossible to store rain and water at all if the amount of the water is too large. It will cause even one flooding problem. In the meter picture, you can see this picture. We can clearly see the Zhengzhou is surrounded by two rivers. Yeah, Yellow River spacing Yangtze River Valley. On the right is a 3D map which I made. We can see that most area of Zhengzhou community are plains, and the flat terrain with less drop leads to the stagnant water not being discharged quickly. In addition, without a large lake and a river, it is difficult to pay it do water storage function. From the analysis of the present topography and that characteristic of the surface water system, Zhengzhou is an area prone to waterlogging. Okay, let's move to the altitude. You can see this picture on the left about the altitude. The bluer the part of the altitude, the lower the altitude. You can clearly see the Zhengzhou community is at an altitude of about 100 meters, which is flat as a whole. So I summarize 3 points. The first is Zhengzhou is located in North China Plain. Second, alluvial plains are widely distributed in the east region. They are formed by the alluvial displays of the Yellow River and have a flat topography. The elevation is 18 to 100 meters high, inclining from northwest to the southeast. Okay, next part is about the climate and participation. The picture on the left is about food. Zhengzhou Station is located in the northeast of the main urban area. In the chart, we can see the rainstorm mainly concentrated from the 13 to the 17 on the 20th. I marked it the red line. The maximum hourly rainfall reached 200 millimeters, and the maximum 20 hours totally rainfall exceeds 620 millimeters. Okay, and this rainstorm has two characteristics: high density participation. Summer airflow makes the rain stronger. Okay, let's move to the last part about the participation and forecasting. Yeah, the summer after the encountering Taihang Mountain and Fuji Mountain in the Henan province, you can see the first picture about the darker the color and the deeper the fold area. The second picture shows the distribution of the river in the community. The last picture is about the rainfall of the real-time rainstorm. So, I also have a conclusion. The total rainfall exceeds 620 meters, and the maximum accumulated water deep in the large area exceeds the standard. Thank you.
So, in this section, I will provide an inhabitant analysis. That is, a breakdown of some details of the people who actually live in the city, their demographics and such. This is a map of Henan Province, of which the city of Zhangzhou is the capital, at least in modern times. It has an area of 167,000 square kilometers and a population of 100 million, which makes it the third most populous province in all of China. Most of this population is Han Chinese. This is the general Chinese ethnic majority, but it does have a small population of Hui, which are Chinese Muslims, although there are no autonomous minority populations recognized in this province. The population has significant Mongol, Manchu, and Kaifeng Jewish ancestry. However, these additions to the bloodlines were all historical, and they are fairly integrated at this point. The province's economy is primarily agricultural, and most people do still live in rural areas. Henan province is actually quite interesting from a historical standpoint, and it is generally known as the, quote, cradle of Chinese civilization, at least the way we think about it today. It has been occupied since the Neolithic at the very least, and archaeological excavations have confirmed this. There are 7 cities in the province, which are especially notable for their historical and cultural significance, and Zhengzhou is one of them. The famous Shaolin Temple, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, is also located here. The city of Zhengzhou itself has been occupied since at least 1500 BC, and more probably since the Neolithic. It was called Zhengjian from 1913 to 1949, and it's also referred to historically as Zhuancheng and Zhuanzhou. So it's been referred to quite a few ways in its history. It became important as a railway junction in the 20th century, and it became the capital of Henan province in 1954. So the transition to using Zhengzhou as a capital is still fairly recent. The city has a population of over 1 million, with 2.5 million in the general metro area. Some demographic statistics for the city of Zhengzhou. The ratio of men to women is roughly equal, at 51% men and 49% women, although women or men are generally concentrated in areas depending on what that area is associated with. So more women live in the areas associated with the commercial districts and business, and more men live in the areas associated with technology and industry, perhaps unsurprisingly. Most of the city's inhabitants live in single-family dwellings of between 2 and 3 people, and most of them are between the ages of 15 and 59. The percentage of people who are older or younger than that is roughly equal on both sides. Some of the perceived ongoing problems, either caused by the flooding or revealed, exacerbated, highlighted by the floods, include primarily the failure of the advanced warning system. For example, one TV station continued to show its normally scheduled programming even during the floods. Another major one is the delayed construction of urban drainage infrastructure. Just to put things in perspective, the city of Zhengzhou has about half the urban drainage that most comparable cities of the same size have. The potential overflow of dam reservoirs is very prominent on the minds of most people at the moment, especially after the Guajiazu incident, in which one dam reservoir did actually overflow. During the floods, quite a few others were either at or near their maximums, and this is seen to remain a problem, understandably. Underreporting of casualties has actually made the news several times in the last couple of months. The number is now at 398, and several provincial officials have recently been arrested or at least punished, including the mayor of Zhengzhou and 3 deputy mayors, and the party secretary for the province has since been removed from his position as well. In all of this research on statistics and demographics and news reports and such, it is really easy to miss the more human aspect of these disasters and how they affect individuals. One individual, Sha Tao, was on a subway train that got flooded right before it entered a station, and called his wife as the car was filling up to tell her to call the police. The wife reported to the New York Times the day after that she had checked a whole bunch of hospitals and no one had any news or information about her husband, and that his phone was off and she had not heard from him since. His body was found that weekend and officially entered into the death toll on the 27th, so that was 6 days after the flooding of the subway train. And unfortunately, this article's updates were published on the 28th, which was 1 day after this happened.
Hello guys, I'm Peiru. I'm one responsible of framework and precedents. Next, I will talk about the Form 4 aspect. First, we can see the physical and non-physical flooded assessment framework. The non-physical emphasize the functions of the government, and the chart can show the government handling framework in the face on national danger and risks. The classical physical measures to reduce fund risk include barriers, dikes, and dams. The second part is framework dynamic protection motivation is based on PMT and TDI. Through this framework, I will talk about solutions when people are in danger of flooded in combination with some precedents. First, life-saving equipment. The first aid blanket is designed by Zhejiang University in China. It helps people on the scene to complete the first-time rescue through clean and simple icon instructions, so as to prevent great severe opportunities of drowned people. Yeah. Second, next, the paper partition system by Shingu Ban, a famous Japanese designer. He used recyclable paper, bamboo, and other material to private short of the victims, but also will protect the previous of the victim. Finally, we want to focus on special groups, enhance the experience of citizens with special needs. The wheelchair designed by Rudolf Hillman fully meets the requirement. It's light, small, and fully adjustable, suitable for various scenes and situations. And I think this framework and precedent has given us a lot of enlightenment. Yeah, finished. That's all.
In conclusion, in addition to natural causes, the disaster also had a lot to do with loopholes in urban design, city planning, disaster prevention, emergency preparedness, and rescue execution. In the following weeks, we will carry out urban planning improvement and emergency measures design for this event from the perspective of physical and non-physical framework.